Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the Mr. Medicare After Show. I mean, the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, joined by my co-host, Akba, who I thought was going to be at an anime convention, but apparently not.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I'm glad to have him here because honestly, nothing really happens this week other than Joe Biden getting dementia, well, I mean he already has dementia, but getting geez, maybe I'm getting dementia.
Maybe a little
Getting
bit.
COVID.
We were talking before the show, folks, so that's just a little rollover, a little teaser of what we're going to be talking about. He got COVID for the second time, is what you meant to say.
Yeah, but see what happens, folks. You start talking about Joe Biden getting dementia, and then you get dementia just by talking, about him. So good God, good God.
Next, you're going to admit to everyone that you had cancer because of things they put in the water, and just glide right the fuck over it.
Oh yeah, that was God. It's gotten to the point where like I remember back when I was podcasting during the Obama administration.
Mhm.
It was fun. It was funny to keep track of Biden's gaffes just because there were so many of them. But like he was just like your wacky crazy uncle. Now that he's actually in charge, it's just kind of like, are you serious?
Oh, dude,
And
I
it's not even
remember.
like,
Go ahead.
and it's not even like the "oh, I misspoke" type thing. It's like he legit doesn't know where he is, and like he's shaking hands with people who are who aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
It's gotten weird,
Um.
and now I guess he's tested for COVID twice.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's
Positive
up with
for it.
that.
I remember back during the Obama days where the whole thing of like him hugging and getting his face real close to young girls was meme to hell and back, and they just started switching in like embarrassed anime girls and shit. I remember that. I'm thinking that's funny as shit. We got a weird fucking vice president, and now this motherfucker is capable of affecting our gas prices, and I'm like, fuck. Oh man, but no, I was saying right before the show. Hi everyone, I'm Akiba. Didn't get to introduce myself a little bit, but that's okay. How I remember when he first got elected, quotes or unquotes, however you want to take that. I was like, man, we gotta have this president 6 fucking months before we start saying President Kamala Harris. I guarantee you, this motherfucker has like re-gotten dementia, almost fallen downstairs countless times. COVID twice has not gone down. I am fucking surprised. I was wrong with that fucking thought. I guess Kamala wasn't the plant for secretly being president once Biden goes down. Because at
And
this point, if they haven't done it,
you know what? As much as I hate to say, I'm glad because I mean, as much as I dislike Biden, say what you will, but at least he always wanted the job.
true.
Kamala does not seem like she wants to be, you know, anywhere. And I mean, granted, the vice presidency position has never been like you know, has never been like that sexy of like a position. You know, you mainly just preside over Congress and whatnot. But even so, like she just does not like even when she was running for president initially,
Hmm.
her her campaign really wasn't that strong. What was hilarious to me is, she and Biden were basically like, bashing each other on the news for months, and then when she finally got announced as the running mate, that they came out with that like goofy cheesy video where it's like, "Oh, hey, we've been friends for years, and
Yeah.
you've always been like my mentor," and it's like, okay. So I mean, it's just always been a really bizarre situation, but and now like I don't know like I mentioned this to a friend the other today actually, like covering politics used to be fun because you used to be able to like poke fun at it somewhat, and I guess you still can, but it's not as fun as it used to be. I don't know, just because everyone takes themselves so seriously now. So,
I mean, that's kind of the whole thing is everything's got to be serious all of the time in every out. They took what was on cable and put it on the net, and it's just made shit so not fun every which way. Even shit fun in nature, you just don't have. I don't enjoy talking to random people on the internet about video games because it's just never a great conversation unless they're really allowed to let her rip. And even then, the few places that do allow that kind of conversation, like 4chan on VBoard, shit, that fucking board has gone to fucking just the dogs in terms of just shit takes, shit people being shitty and just saying stupid shit for it to be, which they always did, but at least you'd be able to, and you can still parse out, who's trying to actually talk. But man, oh man, you just, it everyone takes everything so seriously and it's all become teams.
well, and it's all, and I mean, I know we talked about this last week, so I don't want to beat this horse
Yeah.
too much, but like we said last week, everything has become political. You
Yeah.
know,
That too. On top
um,
of being taken seriously.
someone who listened, one of my IL friends who, God bless them, they listened to the whole 3-hour show that we did last week, and somehow Akaba, somehow I had forgotten about this, but my friend reminded me of this. That I guess back during, I can't remember which battlefield it was,
Oh boy.
because yeah, Lord knows
I'll
they've
remember.
had.
I'll remember. Don't worry.
Well, you'll remember once. See, I can't remember what the game is, but I remember what the controversy was. But essentially, the controversy was that from one of these SJWs that like, and at first I thought it was a troll, but it was real. Supposedly they were complaining that there were no black Nazis in the game.
Um, what? Wait a sec. Okay.
I, either my friend was trolling me and just really fucking with me, but he was like, no man, he's like, I can't remember which one, but there was one of the battlefields that was like released 5 years ago or so that took place
Pro-
during World War II,
Probably
and I
Battlefield
guess the
5, I
SJ
think.
and I guess the SJWs were mad that there were no black Nazis, and I'm like, are you?
No,
I'm
no,
like,
no, 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 dude. That's trolling. That's trolling at its fucking finest. That's like
I'm like,
4chan convincing mainstream media to turn the OK hand signal into white power. That's exactly what that is.
okay, well, thank God. Well, thank God then. I mean,
There were a lot of
they
controversies
they,
involving
they
that
might
game.
have
The Black Nazis wasn't.
they might have well they might have read that on Babylon Bee or The Onion. Here's
Oh
the thing
yeah,
though.
true.
Here's the thing though too. We live in such a weird world now where it's hard to tell satire.
Oh yeah, when you
Um,
start asking, is this an Onion article? That's a problem. That's
yeah.
absolutely a problem.
Um, yeah, but so I didn't know that Battlefield had had controversies.
I want to say it
But
was 5. The big one is that they were saying that there were females in active duty on the war front in combat positions. And then I don't know if she was brown and that was also something people were pissed about, but she had like a weird prosthetic hand she was able to like masterfully manipulate those kinds of older heavier guns with. The whole thing was just like it was kind of like what if you took World War II and kind of made it like fantasy a bit, and it just didn't sit well
oh
because
yeah,
Battlefield's
yeah.
always been very or tried to be very accurate in their representation of the times and the guns and the weapons and things like that. So there was a lot with that. And then they said, oh, if you don't want women in your Battlefield, you're this, that, and the other. Yeah, but I do think, no, we do need black Nazis. I think that's a strong aesthetic. I think it can be a strong villain trope. I'm surprised Wolfenstein hasn't done a character like that. That'd be great. I am all for that argument. I think there should be equal. I think you should have Nazis of every race should be allowed to be one. I'm gonna shut up because this is getting a little far away from in Wolfenstein, people. In Wolfenstein, that's what I'm talking about. The video game.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Only in
This
Wolfenstein.
show, this show is it gonna be clipped and taken out of context?
Oh,
But
let's hope not.
the black Nazi thing. I mean, Dave Chappelle did it with Clinton Bigsby already with the
Did he?
with the black KKK members. So hey,
Oh
Dave,
yeah.
if you need an idea, like why not? That's just
That would be that'd be a great like modern Chappelle skit. And now it's just black Nazis.
so. And I mean, I don't know if you had this planned for gaming news, but like the only thing of worthwhile that I know of that I wanted to kind of cover, and I know that you saw this because I tweeted about this.
Yeah, it
I
is on the
guess.
docket.
I mean, so
We can lead with that. You ready? You want to lead with that?
so yeah. Well, first off, have I ever? I know off air we've kind of talked about GTA, but have I told you my full feelings about GTA as a whole series?
You have not. Please
Okay,
begin.
so yeah, so let me start off with that. Okay, so the GTA trilogy, 3 Vice City and San Andreas
Ah, yes, the first modern.
were yeah, those were like I consider those to be classics, and
Mhm.
they still have insane replayability,
Oh
15,
yeah,
20 years later, right?
they age very
Um,
well for their time coming out. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and so I don't know. I feel like those games are those are good games. And I'm not saying that like how can I put this? I feel like Rockstar's problem is that they okay, so you have the GTA original trilogy, which is solid, right? Then you
Well,
have
you have the modern the first trilogy is 1, 2 in London, but yes, you then have the modern
okay,
trilogy
yeah,
that
okay,
everyone
yeah,
kind of knows. 3 SA and VC. Yeah.
yeah, you have like the 3D trilogy, I guess
Yeah.
is what people call them.
Yeah.
Um, but then you have, the Red Dead franchise. You have Bully, and
Yeah.
you have all these other games that Rockstar has done that are also fantastic.
Manhunt.
Yeah, Manhunt. Um, and I mean, I guess technically Max Payne, although that's partially remedied
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
So,
that's I think there's too much remedy in that to say it's something
but
that is a Rockstar thing.
my point being is like
Mm.
Rockstar has several other successful properties besides GTA,
GTA.
right?
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people, myself included, because we're fans of the Western genre and the cowboy genre in general, would love to see the world of Red Dead expanded. So that's just my bias.
Mhm.
But to me, it feels like Rockstar has done kind of the same thing that the Fast and Furious movies have done, where now they just create GTA games just for the hell of it because they can, and fuck you. We're on GTA number 15,
Mm.
variation number 15, and you're gonna buy it because just like Fast and Furious, it's GTA. And so now with
Yeah,
this
kind
news of
of.
GTA 6, I don't know. I just feel I just feel like they're just I just feel like they're doing whatever just to kind of fuck with people now. Like no one really asked for a new well, at least not that I'm aware of. Like no one was like jonesing for a new GTA game.
I disagree. I think
So,
everybody's been jonesing for fucking GTA 6. I think it's been on everybody's mind since our second or third re-release of GTA 5. It was on everybody's mind as soon as Red Dead 2 got released and things finished up on that project. Um I mean, it's gotten to the point now where it is in popular culture where it is a zeitgeist of an IP franchise,
yeah.
and it what's happening now is something that has it was bound to happen, right? So one second, let me move my mic a little bit. So GTA, like many franchises, started very humble. It started with DMCA Design, started GTA 1, 2, and London. They had their own um world lore, and then when they went to 3D, it kind of changed up some stuff and changed up the lore within that world and kind of soft rebooted the whole universe. And of course, GTA 3 was one of the hottest goddamn things on the planet. Even though Driver 3 had technically already done the formula, GTA 3 was the one to make it impressive, flashy, give it that kind of grit feeling that you can only get out of 3. And then it was a smash. They hit it with VC, they hit it with San Andreas. And then going into that next generation, I think they did very well. Like I started with 3 and I played through them. San Andreas is one of my favorite games. It's so influential
Yeah.
to me in my youth. Just playing with friends, the co-op, all that kind of shit. Um and then the HD universe began where they soft rebooted the entire lore one more time with 4, and I thought 4 was very good. I thought 4 was a great game to play engine wise, but I really enjoyed the story. I had enjoyed the GTA stories kind of as popcorn movie kind of enjoyment, but
Yeah.
with 4, with Nico, um, the Lost and Damned a little bit, but especially the Ballad of Gay Tony, these were coming to be like a lot better movies than kind of just sort of popcorn flick. It felt a little bit more grounded, a little bit more realistic in a good way, as on top of it
Yeah.
just always being nutty. It's always fucking nutty. But it focused a lot on characters, and it you could see it start to take more inspiration. Now I don't know the internals of development at Rockstar, let alone from the other studios. I'm not that well versed, but at time You developers, even though they always keep the same name, they can be at any point a revolving door. People can come in, people can come out, and if you really like, say, oh, I'm a big fan of 3 Vice City and San Andreas, well, those weren't always the same teams. People got hired, people went
Right.
on to other jobs, and you like that era. With the HD era, it was different. There was more. I mean, they always took from media and movies and things like that, but not as much as the cinematics and movie stunts they were really trying to do with 4. 5 hit, you saw the exact same thing. But all that aside, the big thing I think for GTA, which is what really the difference is between GTA 4 and GTA 5, is online. That
Yeah.
is what's really catapult. So the story takes a backseat because they know they're going to make all their money with the online mode, and as such, uh, for this new one, they feel they can do whatever they want with the story.
Yeah, and from my understanding, they're doing what EA is doing with The Sims 5, or no, 6 now, I guess, and making it entirely online, which
Oh, are they? I didn't hear about that. If
yeah,
GTA
that
6 is always online, fuck, that's going to be rough.
well, I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know. That's just a rumor I'm hearing that like the whole
Okay.
thing is going to be online. I hope it's not, because that would be rough. And also, um, you and I have talked. We like story games.
Very
You
much.
and I, and I think now there's so much. I think there's been like so much online play now that it's kind of lost its novelty. So
To an extent, it depends if the game does stuff good and if the game is if it's fun at its core just to play it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the thing is, like, you can say, yeah, a lot of people that do play the online barely play the story or whatever, but those that play the story tend to really enjoy the story for what it does, kind of. The big thing now is that, like, the GTA story missions in 5 don't offer you any freedom. They want you to do a very exact thing and act out your part in the movie, which goes against how the older GTAs kind of handled things.
yeah, and that's been a complaint for a while with Rockstar, like across all their games, that Red Dead. I remember that was like the one of the very few criticisms of Rockstar of Red Dead Redemption 2 was that it required you to basically follow the path that they wanted you to take for the storyline.
Yeah. So to update chat and hi to everyone in chat saying hi to us. I am keeping a slight eye on it, but man, boy, I get stuck in conversation. We are talking about Bloomberg coming out and saying that Grand Theft Auto 6 is to include a playable female protagonist, one who will be part of who is apparently Latina and going to be one of the leading pair in a Bonnie and Clyde style of characters. I guess okay. I don't care if it's a guy or a girl. Is the character good? If you've got a spicy crime doing Latina, she better be better than Catalina. Give me my Catalina game. I'm down for that. Just give me
Yeah.
control of a schizo Latina criminal, and I'm down. That sounds fun. Um, but on top of that, they do say that the developer will be cutting back on. They'll be cautious not to punch down by making jokes about marginalized groups and clean up their humor. Which, if you've ever played a Grand Theft Auto game, you know that is practically all of their humor.
So
It sounds like they're
so to
gonna
qu-
suck the soul out of it.
so to quote the late Norm Macdonald, I like video games where I can kill hookers. You mean to tell me I can't kill hook? You mean to tell me I can't kill hookers in this one? That doesn't sound any fun. That doesn't sound like any fun.
Exactly.
That's like the one celebrity impression that I can do.
Not bad, not
Kind
bad.
of.
But like, yeah, like I remember in San Andreas, if you go to Las Venturas and you go to the airport and you get the jumbo jet on the runway, you see the numbers 6 and 9. It's not, gut busting, but you go 69, and then you fly your plane and you go do whatever you want to do with a plane in a city. I'm not going to judge you, but my point
Yeah.
being, or there were always puns or company names were double entendres or something like that. The radio commercials are some of the best stuff in GTA I've always found. Up
Oh
to about
yeah.
4. I was not a fan of the talk shows too much in GTA 5. And I still think the best
No,
ones are
the
3VC and SA.
oh oh Vice City, especially if you actually go into I wouldn't really say the lore of GTA, but like the lore of like what was actually happening in the 80s and what
Yeah.
and what they were parodying. That makes it even funnier with like mega churches and
Yeah.
um you know uh parents worrying about their kids getting hold of the
Mm-hmm. They
VHS because
they had
you
so
know
much to riff on with it because of the times too.
yeah, and it was great. So but
But yeah, so I think if you take out the the jokes and the this and that, and you try to clean it up, and it the whole series got its fame from pissing people off, from doing what it wanted to do and not being apologetic for being different. But I think kind of like Simpsons, when you're praised as the underdog, eventually you become top dog, and then you become that thing you fought against.
well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's true, but also, and again, this just goes to show that we're kind of living in weird times. People don't understand satire anymore either.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely not.
and I mean, and it's been a while since I played 5. But like even GTA 5 was satirical of our current
Oh yeah.
you know, and so ultimately like yeah, people can get outraged about the blood or the guts or whatever or all the controversies with GTA, but ultimately like it's a satire game. It's not really meant to be taken
It's parody.
seriously.
It's
Yeah,
it's parody
it's
of our
a
world. It's turned up just almost to 11, to where it's a little bit wackier, a little bit more crazier, but still believable.
yeah, and so what they want to get rid of that now is what I'm understanding. That's what it sounds like.
Certain parts of it. So like, okay, them calling Facebook Life Invader, that's great. That's a great joke, right? That's fucking fantastic. It's simple. It hits when you realize you're like, ah, fuck, shit. It gets that little reaction out of you. They're not gonna remove stuff like that, but they're gonna try to think of the one Latin dude from fucking the Vice City Radio, and I think he was talking about gay guys or something like that. They're gonna try to tone down the
Oh,
jokes
the
made towards certain groups of people. But the thing is that those jokes are made because it's a parody of how people actually are in the real world.
oh yeah, the La Passion guy or
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
or
The
that
love advice
yeah.
or romance or whatever. Yeah. So it's, and not to say like I can't GTA was never. Oh, Fernando. There it is. Fernando. There.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for
That's what I was
no.
thinking of. So like they always kind of like played and jabbed and shit here and there, but they never really like, if there was any sort of like jokes at any culture's expense, I can't really think of them. I mean, they played as stereotypes, and stereotypes are funny because they're based in reality. Like you see Ryder and he's looking like he's E and he's a drug dealer and he's cooking up, shit in the kitchen, and then, man, I didn't graduate. Like, you get that little bit of joke because it's like, ah, fuck, that's kind of fucked up. But yeah, no, that happens. Like, they never, and anybody who is racist in game, that person was usually just a fucking asshole. So of course they would be like that. So it makes me worry
Yeah,
about what's going to be okay to make fun of, what's not going to be okay to make fun of. Because I
yeah.
still
Well,
subscribe to the South Park of either it's all okay or none of it's okay.
yeah, and well, and again, I mean, we talked last week. You know, the whole premise, the whole premise, and this is something I keep hearing too. This is going to cause Gamergate 2, and it's like, nah. It's like, and that is one thing. That is one thing I want to. That is one thing I want to ask um, because my big question is, like, do people honestly want a Gamergate 2? And the other question is why? Because I mean, I guess what would Gamergate 2 accomplish that number one didn't? No one
It'd be a
can.
grift fest, dude. That's all. Anybody who wants Gamergate 2 to happen, just to happen, or for anything besides, more fire brought on to journalists and their ethics used, or their lack of going to journalism school or anything like that, nobody fucking, anybody who cared about that already knows you cannot trust a single fucking news outlet. It was already waning back then in 2012, 13, 14, whatever the fuck it was. And now it's just that, like, you already look at any video game article and go, yeah, they're on the fucking take. You learn to look at the news different. I think a lot of people have learned that. So anybody who wants it for the ethics in games journalism is a fucking meme at this point, because it's like most journalism, it's not fucking there in the modern age. So anybody who wants Gamergate 2 to fucking happen is either Sargon of Akkad in his ill-fitting tuxedo as a manager at Applebee's, or they're wanting to fucking grift on it. And it's a thing of, it's like, I think anybody who even has a marginal brain would go, there's not much there anymore. It's not like it would bring out it's not like Matt Jarbo would come back and start waving the banner for Gamergate 2. Fuck no. But people who don't
No,
care about anything and will just grift anything, like a certain holler and hog, absolutely will be right there bitching about shit we were bitching about fucking 10 years ago.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's and for all we know, because here's the other thing, and I always run people about this with GTA
Mhm.
2 and Rockstar. Like, Rockstar back in the day, I'm not sure if they do this anymore, because I know that they actually got into like trouble regarding this. But like, I remember hearing that, like, back in the day, um, there were quote unquote concerns about, kids going on school shootings because of GTA, right? Like, that
Mhm.
was the big hot button thing when you and I were kids, and then it turned out that, like, those reports were actually like they were actually manufactured by Rockstar itself. So they essentially manufactured their own controversy to, like, sell
Oh yeah.
copies, I
Oh
guess.
yeah. No, they weren't dumb.
And so part of me has to wonder if, like, they're riling up the internet to do the same thing again.
A 4D chess move? It's probable. I mean, well, the thing is, you have to remember, like, these are two different rock stars. These are two different rock stars being ran by two different Take-Twos. I like to think back to Oddworld series creator Lorne Lanning in one of his discussions where he was talking about meeting with people at Rockstar. There was a lot of stuff said that he can't say to this day on what they said about him and the industry and all that. But back then, those guys were very much their namesake. They were like rock stars, like, man, you guys are gonna be the biggest in gaming, man, and you're gonna take it and push the medium and push the bound, man. Like, you should be treated like rock stars, man. We're rock stars. We're gonna do something, man. Like, they were a lot more counterculture, obviously, because of the nature of it. So knowing that any publicity is good publicity, especially, or at least in the old media world, absolutely, they would do something like that. They would push it knowing that people are going to be outraged, but knowing that it doesn't really cause school shooters in that fucking way. They did do it with GTA 3. They changed up the plot and a lot of things because of 9/11. They weren't just complete assholes.
Yeah.
But they knew if you piss off the parents, the kids are going to want it.
Well, and also, like, at that time, too, during the time of the trilogy, of the 3D trilogy, like, 9/11 was still a very relevant thing. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's not relevant now, but, like, it had just happened.
Yeah, it was very, very fresh, yeah. But meanwhile, school shootings never did stop. Like, even then, Columbine was not that long ago, when 3 came out. So it's.
I remember I got into a retarded argument with someone one time because, and this was like when we were in middle school. I think it might have been with one of my teachers because they had something like that GTA Vice City caused Columbine, and I'm like, GTA Vice City wasn't yet thing. Like even a concept when like, it might have been a concept, but it hadn't been like developed at all.
No.
So
the PS2 wasn't even out. The PS2 wasn't even in developers' hands, I think, probably by the time Columbine happened. At least not readily in developers' hands.
No, not really. I mean, I think the PS1 was still, that would have been the 90s. So yeah, PS1 and.
Oh no, I mean for like the early, like the people making launch titles, they would have to have,
yeah.
console. But I think it'd be probably only first party at that point in time when Columbine happened, because it happened early in '99, right? Yeah, Hitler's birthday. Yeah. So that is. Yeah, and I know the kind of people who would say that kind of same dumb shit too. But it's fucking, I lost my train of thought. God damn it. Where was I?
Oh, what? Oh, wait. Did Phil distract you with his comment?
The chat in general, but yeah, that was telling. Oh God, that's gonna be a fucking thing probably.
Phil does that. Also, hello, Mr. Vickers. Hello, evil data
coin merchant
on the internet.
California coin merchant. How you doing, Mr. V?
No, quick. I had to go off on a tangent, but and I don't know why this occurred to me this week, but it did. It seems to me that the whole reason why the internet is mad at him, or why he has A-logs, I should say, is because, like, his A-logs are essentially mad at him that he's just goofy. And that's.
His A-logs are a whole fucking bag of kettle corn.
Well, yeah.
They'll have any reason they want. If if it can be because he has 15 controllers or because he has lightsabers or so many they'll find a reason. It can be because he has a GameCube on his desk that he doesn't have plugged in, and that's why he's a terrible person to totally to the farmers and not me, who is looking at that GameCube. And I'm getting off track. My point being, they'll find anything to hate the man who just really is just not doing anything.
No.
I mean, yeah, he's poking, he's pig poking on Bird app, but a lot of people do that until you get blocked from poking.
But who isn't? So
he says it was plugged in for a while. Yeah, for a while, but were there discs in it? Was it running Resident Evil 1? These are the questions I need to ask. What about Twilight Princess? Come on now, you got a GameCube.
I do have the power to send invites. I don't know if he's properly set up or if he even wants to come on, but I know that if he no, I'm assuming that's no. I'm assuming that's no to both. I just know that if he did make a sudden appearance, then everyone would show up.
I'm this close to trying. That's the best time to be on. Shit.
well, Mr. Vickers, did you hear? Did you hear the stream? Did you hear Akaba's first stream that he did when Apex was drunk? When Akaba got introduced to the real Apex Gamma.
While Anus was doing his thing.
Oh yeah, Anus was and poor Akaba. That's why he came back. It wasn't because of the situation. It was because poor Akaba got stuck with me and Apex. So and Anus. So
asking if Apex was drunk. Yes, Apex was drunk in the conversation.
Oh,
going to clip Anus was doing his thing. Oh my god. They were a power duo of confusion and curveballs, and I just didn't. Man, I was not ready for it.
It was. It was
a great time. Don't get me wrong.
I wasn't ready for it, and I know Apex's antics. So, speaking of antics, though, someone on Twitter did want to know our thoughts on the Medicare stream.
I do want to, before we get to that, I do want to touch on one last thing with GTA, because I did remember. As for, are they doing this to manufacture outrage? I don't think. They have become a much more different company. They are trying to appeal to the widest consumer base. That means being super woke and all that. I don't particularly think that. I do also know that they do this because they believe they can. I used to have a friend who worked at a AAA game studio that made an open world title that kind of was like Grand Theft Auto in some ways. And he had told me, we were out smoking on his porch one night, and he had told me that it was such a different culture there, because when they saw a new trailer for GTA or something, they were all super excited about it. But he had heard from friends who had worked at Rockstar is that when they put their company's game on the TVs in like the lunchroom or break room or whatever at Rockstar, they started to throw trash at the TV and boo them. And it was a very, it was a very similar kind of genre. So it's not like direct competitor, because who can compete with GTA? But the work culture there was just to the point of they were just boo, fuck them, just actually throwing trash at the TV. And I remember him
I
telling me, like, holy shit.
if it's a competitor's game, I have a feeling I know who it is, and I almost don't want to ask because
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you after the show, and anybody who's keen can probably take a guess based on games that have come out and things like that, what game I might be talking about. And I'm just being nice, I'm
yeah,
not to say it, but because no one can be pinned or hurt for what I'm
right.
saying. And it's not that big of a thing. You could probably fucking guess it. Yeah, they've gotten a little high on their horse. So it's a very different company. It's a very different culture. It's a work culture. And I read in the article that they were, as a company, focused on cleaning up their work culture, because their work culture in general, I mean, not just among their own people, but was really bad. If you remember everything with LA Noir and how much of a nightmare LA Noir was under Rockstar, I mean, if you know, you know, right? Um, and I'm
Oh,
sure Red Dead had its own massive amounts of developer issues.
oh yeah, it did. What's really funny about that is Red Dead, if you go back and and if you go back and watch any of the convention panels that the cast did, everyone in the cast who did the motion capture and the actual store and whatnot, they all got along splendidly.
Yeah,
But I guess it was the technical team where they
yeah, the
had
developers. Yeah,
problems and
it,
and
it's
whatnot.
it, it's
So
always the ground line developers that tend to have problems, and a lot of it just comes from Rockstar. I mean, no, it's common in the gameplay in the game industry. Crunch happens. It is terrible hours. It is terrible compensation. Some companies you aren't even guaranteed a job after everything's done. It is a very tough
yeah,
industry to be in. Um, Especially when management is unruly. So they say they're cleaning it up. Fucking yeah, okay, sure, whatever. They said the same shit about EA, and Bobby Kotick was in
can,
control for as long as he was. So
can I ask, and without
mm,
I don't know if this is going to want any details, but I was thinking out games the other day, and I just recently downloaded the Mafia trilogy, the remaster, and I
mhm.
don't know about you, but I actually Mafia is not perfect, but I've always enjoyed that series to a certain extent.
I've
And
never played it
so I
fully, but it always seemed like a very competent series for what it was doing.
so you haven't played Mafia then.
I've played bits of it here and there through the years, but I've never sat down and gone through any of the actual games. But I had played as early back as one.
Yeah, well, because see people keep making comparisons between the Mafia series and the GTA series. And I mean, they're both crime games, but other than that, and they're both open world, but they're just different enough to where you can't to where
Well,
I don't think you can really compare them. But that's
no,
just
because
me.
it's like trying to compare GTA San Andreas versus or fucking GTA 4, fucking keep it on the same system. GTA 4 versus Godfather 2. Both are crime games, but both do very different things in how they set up and how their core
Oh,
gameplay loop and structure is.
yeah, and well, but also Godfather 2, and this is speaking as a fan of the films.
Hmm.
Uh, Godfather 2, the game was a complete train wreck.
Okay. Okay. All right. I promise I'm not going to take too long. I'm just going to say I love Godfather 2 as a movie. I love the movies. I'm okay with it for what it does adaptationally as a video game
Yeah,
story. It's there to be a game, not a story, I think. And if
no,
you
no,
look at it
no.
like that, it's more enjoyable.
Well, see, I don't. We might as well go off on this tangent. So, as
Oh
far
Lord.
as the Godfather, as far as the Godfather games go, back on the PlayStation 2, the first game is actual like what got me into the movies, actually. And I was like, this is a really good movie. This is like a really good movie adaptation of like a like the first one was actually good. Was it perfect? Maybe not, but like, for what it was at the time, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
number two, it was just kind of like, uh,
It was a what
it
if
was a kind of,
scenario. It was an alternate
yeah,
universe.
it was a completely, I
Very,
mean, and I
very
guess,
different universe.
well, and I mean, I guess like, and I guess people could say that that the first game was too, but I feel like the first one at least tried to kind of tie in with the movie a little bit, and the
Mm,
second one was just like it didn't even because see, Godfather 2, the movie is supposed to take place in the 50s, but
yeah,
like the game looks like it's more like in the late 60s, early 70s. It doesn't even
yeah,
look like The Godfather, really.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
and maybe that's kind of why I like it. It's just a very thinly veiled, just good crime game because I never really got any of the emotions or intensity that I would have with the films in any way. It was always just kind of wacky crime game. Go see titty, collect money,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
break into place, cut the electric box wires and shit. Like that was very fun for what it was, but it wasn't. Even though with that title, it was very much not like it. The movie in any way. But also in that same vein, to kind of keep that original comparison, I wouldn't compare Vice City to Scarface on the PS2. Both are crime games, but they're trying to do very different things. And I think people having comparisons to people call them GTA clones. Anything open world was a GTA clone. Remember, that kind of argument that people make,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a shitty argument because motherfucker, GTA 3 is just a driver clone. If you wanna go, well, actually about it, you want to talk about who did the concept first, that was Driver. But what's most popular? GTA. So what does everybody call it? GTA clones, which is just an insult to anybody trying to do something relatively close to that genre.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it's
at a certain point, that's like trying to say the Assassin's Creed games have become GTA clones. It's just absolutely asinine to consider.
yeah, one of the hilarious things I saw is someone tried to I think someone tried to use this as like an insult, but it was like the opposite. Like someone tried to say that the one bad thing about Spider-Man for the PS4 was that it was a Spider-Man 2 clone, and I'm like, that's your that's your complaint? That's like
That's when you have nothing to complain about.
that's like that's like the best compliment ever almost.
Exactly. Like, oh, it's a clone of what's heralded as the best fucking game for this IP. Like, oh, the travesty. Oh, it's a good web swinging game. Oh, how dare they? They should have came up with an entirely new web swinging mechanic. It's just
I
people,
mean,
and that's why I hate reading
yeah.
people's opinions on video games on the internet. God damn it,
Yeah, me too. Uh,
man!
so
What the fuck? That's when you. That's absolutely when you have nothing to bitch about. I can come up with things like for games that I absolutely love. Like, yeah, no, there are flaws, but it's like it's not anything. Technically yes, but I don't really give a fuck. There were points in Bloodborne where they didn't connect the buildings to the floor and you could see into the void. And they had 9 patches to fix that shit. They didn't. I don't give a fuck. It's still Bloodborne. It's still amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that I guess that's games journalism, but like the fact that the thing that amazes me is that people in games journalism get paid for their shitty opinions too,
The
mostly.
shitty it's based on the clicks. If you can get the clicks, that's all they fucking care about half the time. That's why they post up stupid ass opinion articles. I remember in games magazines where maybe you had 2 pages for opinion articles. And back then, the fucking late 90s, early aughties, the opinions weren't that terrible. They were okay. All right, maybe it's a little thought provoking. You'd probably have read it on the net before, whatever, if you were online. But now it's such absolute it's at that point where you're like, this is a fucking onion article, isn't it? No. Oh fuck.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I feel like but I mean, I feel like it's not just with video games now. It's with everything. Like,
Oh yeah, no, it's all the failings in journalism started when you didn't have to go to journalism school to be a journalist anymore. And the internet,
right.
it blessing and a curse in the same way that you could say the press is a blessing and a curse.
Oh, sure.
Um it's just when there are no ethics, you lose credibility, you lose validity. And not to say that it was ever perfect or anything like that, but now it's just, at least now, I guess, in some points it's a little easier to tell what's just bullshit and what's not. You can assume everybody's trying to sell you something. If they're praising it, they're probably paid to an extent.
Well, well, it's also too much of it's also a case in point of there can in fact be too much of a good thing,
Oh yeah.
to like, and uh I don't know if you feel this way, but like I'm a hard, like I'm a hardcore comic book superhero hero film guy.
Hmm.
But it does kind of seem like now with Marvel going into like phase 5 or whatever, phase 6,
Fuck.
maybe. Yeah, that's my reaction. It's like when Iron Man it's like when the first set of Marvel movies came out and you found out that there was going to be like an expanding universe, and that they were actually going to be and that they were actually going to like do the Avengers
Yeah,
and
that
like
was that was a cool concept. I was like, wow, that sounds so cool.
build
That's gonna
like
be
a
great.
whole like expanded universe, like that was cool.
Hmm.
Now it's just been so overdone. It's like, okay, there's a new Spider-Man movie. Okay, great. Whereas like with like the Tobey Maguire movies, say what you will,
Loved them.
but for everyone it was like, holy shit, that was intense. Now we have to wait 3 more years to find out
Yeah.
what's going to happen. Whereas instead it's like, well, okay, now we have to wait for the next puzzle piece, in the next Marvel movie that is coming out 6 months from now to connect that thing. But then it ties into it ties into this series on Disney Plus over here,
Yeah.
which
It's
connects to
it's
this
it's too
thing,
much. Yeah.
and
Um
it's become an oversaturation, I
that was
think.
my problem with Final Fantasy 15. They took up the story and they made an anime series, they made a movie, they had to turn DLCs into novels, they had to plan shit for DLCs. It's just too much to when you spread it out that much, you can't get a full story. It's frustrating. Mr. Vickers says it is indeed phase 5. Um and I think a lot of it is it's genre fatigue. It's too much because here think about it, like fucking what's his name, Silent Bob, goddamn, what's his name, oh my
Kevin
god,
Smith?
Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith made his own cinematic
Biggest
universe.
sellout.
Depending on who you ask. Kevin Smith made his own fucking cinematic universe, and the reason why it worked as well as it did is because between all those fucking movies, there was a long period of time to where they had to make the fucking movie. So by the time you saw it, you weren't burnt out. And now with all of these superhero movies, it's just, you're getting fucking burnt out. And then you tie in the shows, and it's like it's just too much. Mr.
Yeah,
Vicker says that's brilliant. So MCU is managing it so that there's something coming out every month or so over different platforms, and that I think just it. I mean, from a marketing standpoint, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you capture the market and have the hold. Especially when DC doesn't, it ain't gonna do much to retaliate. But it's now it's to that point where it's no longer novel to see a superhero movie.
also though, Mr. Vickers, I have to ask.
I'm not besmirching. I'm just saying
No, I'm not.
it's no for Mr. Vickers because he's saying don't besmirch the
No,
MCU or we can't be friends anymore. But
I'm reading his comments too. See, like the point of comic book movies, though, originally at least when they were first coming out, like back in the I mean, let's be honest, back when they were making the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk movies back in the 80s, the whole
right,
point of comic book movies originally was to get people, uh, you know, actually like buying actual comic books,
yeah,
right?
interested in the characters, yeah,
And so, that was how not with those movies in particular, but like, I remember seeing Spider-Man the animated series when I was a kid because
yep.
that's how old I am. And
Fucking X-Men, like
yeah. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
fucking god, it's such a good fucking theme. Shit.
So yeah. So we grew up with that, which, and that started me collecting all the comics that are behind me.
Oh, the
And
fucking
so
the Hulk Bill Bixby hitchhiking Hulk scene.
I guess my question to Mr. Vickers would be though, um, and this might be Mr. Vickers' undoing, depending on this might be the biggest scandal in Vickers get yet. But do your kid have your kids actually been in a comic book shop, or are they one of those kids that's like, What's a what's a comic book? We just know the MCU, and
With
that's
him
it.
as the father? Fuck no.
Okay. Okay, I'm relieved.
With him as the father, they don't know what a comic. No, no. I guarantee you, every child in the Vickers family has had to at least read the first 3 series
Uh,
of some point in the Batman comics.
why well, yes,
He
that's
says,
why
"Fucks yes, we go to comic book shops all the time."
listen, I'm glad because um yeah, yeah, there are kids now who don't know what comic books are. They think that, they're just things that are used to make the movies, but they don't. Yeah.
That's
Other
a
than
scary
that, they
thought.
don't pay attention to the source material, and it makes me sad. Um, but
Well, it's because now the way they do it is they do it digital too, and it's like, yeah, it's easier, but it's not the same feel as when you have a comic book in your hand versus when you're just scrolling through pictures on your phone.
true, but also, I mean, to be honest, like I do. I do collect. So these days, I do collect like a lot of like a lot of omnibuses,
Mhm.
and obviously, I know that inflation is a thing, but um, some of these some of these like soft cover books now are like $60, and it's
Yeah,
like, and it's like, ugh, that's a bit much.
You know, when it gets to that point where you go from comic book to graphic novel, the whole dynamic kind of changes. And it's I think that's part of it. You go from comics to graphic. I mean, you can always stay into comics, but you know, there's a lot of good stuff that you can get out of graphic novels and things like that. And it's just part of a changing and adapting market. I can't, maybe I'm wrong just because I have no fucking experience. I don't remember graphic novels being a fucking thing in the 90s personally, but that's just me. Maybe I don't know.
There, there was Watchmen, but that was it. And I remember I got my copy of Watchmen, which is still in my bookshelf for um for like $20 new.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that's the thing too, is that like people that care about it, they care about the print. So like I obviously have a little bit of experience on the Japanese side of things in the manga world. So there are certain books I want to read. There's one series in particular called A Horror X Machine Gun, and the Japanese books I can get all 15 volumes for like a $130 imported from Japan, maybe 170. But if I want to collect every single English one, there are several volumes in that 15 set that are $65.
a pop?
No, because they don't print it anymore.
Oh.
So and they don't make an omnibus. So if you want your whole collection in English, you got to fork out a high amount for certain volumes over others because of printing
Ooh.
numbers. So for the people that care about it and like having a physical collection of books, you're absolutely. Can I just go on the website and read it all? Yes, but it's not the same thing as opening up a book and flipping through the pages and looking at it like close up and stuff like that. Is just something about it. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing too, is like a lot of that kind of is sold at those prices. Thankfully now generally it's not so much an issue of manufacture, so scarcity in copies isn't as commonplace, especially now with the digital releases. But Vigor says trade paperbacks were more of the rage in the 90s 2000 really saw the increase in graphic novels. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So it yeah, how did we get off on this topic?
I don't know. This
Oh,
is
good lord, we're all over the place. Okay, so I guess
I
I think we
I
went from Godfather to Spider-Man, and then we went to Marvel. I think that's how we got here.
yeah, and then somehow we were gonna try and tie this into I guess
Our thoughts on the Metacritic
Jim's
thing?
stream.
Yeah, I thought it
Um
was funny. I had a good time.
oh I want to buy, and obviously I don't want Mr. Vickers to, you know, to give me his personal info, but that the new merch that Jim is dropping. I don't know if you caught that at the beginning, but oof.
It's it's an interesting shirt design. I like what he's going for.
Yeah.
It's
So
at that interesting point now where dudes are making item designs just to diss each other. It's almost like a weird internet version of diss tracks.
it is. Yeah, and I mean
He says he saw the new
I
merch and
I
just laughed and laughed.
I paid I spent more money on this shirt than Ethan Ralph did for his paid for his kid. Like I feel like
He,
shit. I'd wear that shirt, but then the other thing of it is like I know that if I bought it, like if I were to wear that out in real life, like everyone would be like, "Who the hell is Ethan Ralph?" And then
oh
I
yeah,
was,
no, this is stuff not meant to be bought or worn. It is literally there as a fuck you statement. Maybe there'll
but
be some crazies who will buy it,
oh,
but
you know there will be, you know there will be.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting dynamic.
So I did not know that the you got that thing that Medicare uses is like an actual, I don't know, music video or animation thing.
Hmm.
Um, which I need your anime knowledge and powers. What is that supposed to be a reference?
Uh, was it anime or was it just his at the beginning? Because I don't. Oh no,
Uh,
it was the red one with the metal. Okay, so that was somebody took some song and they put Kantai Collection girls to it. Kantai Collection is a Japanese mobile slash Vita game where basically they turn Japanese and some American and British and French warships into anime girls. And somebody took those girls, made the music video, and then people started remixing the music video with all sorts of other different things. And somebody made a gym version.
cool. And we finally got the Battle of Jim's driveway, I guess. Um, or footage from it, I guess.
A little bit. A little bit.
Um,
I still want a proper battle. I want a he will not divide us levels of battle.
oh, it's. I think it'll happen.
I'm hoping.
Uh,
Shit.
it 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 would it would be it would be awesome just for meme sake if I don't know how this would happen, but I feel so. Here's the thing: is Shia LaBeouf does kind of look like Andy Worski a little bit.
Eh,
So, and I mean, I know that Shia LaBeouf is technically a celebrity, but not really. So I feel like in a weird way, Shia LaBeouf could somehow uh actually worm his way into this whole thing. And then we could actually get an actual "You Will Not Divide Us" confrontation.
that would be interesting. That would be interesting. I don't know. I think you're a little more hopeful than I am of that. I think he will not divide us was a real wake up moment for Shia in exactly how far his influence can take him and in what directions it can possibly fucking go.
Yeah. Well, pretty soon he and Ralph will both be, sitting at that same table, I guess. So,
Oh, you're not wrong. You are not wrong on that.
um, and I mean, gosh, it's I don't know how people do it. I can't keep track of the Ralph stuff at this point in
Oh,
time.
I've given up. My fucking week has been so goddamn fucking busy, man. I haven't had fucking time. And anytime I do have, I'm like, I'm gonna go do something else than read up on the Kiwi Farms threads and try to catch up with all the bullshit.
Um, yeah, and yeah, I mean, I guess Chris Chan. So Baked is, I guess, taking a plea deal now too.
I think he already has.
That's that's gonna be fun.
Not at
Um,
all surprising.
no. Um, and Chris Chan, I had no idea that we were still waiting for a trial, but I
Well,
guess.
it's now it's gonna go in front of a grand jury, or might be. I think if I read. I don't know, dude. I'll be honest. It's been a week of working, playing Danganronpa, and fighting one of the hardest bosses in Elden Ring, and I've just been fucking tuned out watching VTubers and shit. I've not been paying attention to anything. I just scroll through to it. I'm like, huh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, all right.
No, me too. I really haven't paid much attention to, like I said before the show, I hadn't really paid much attention to politics even.
Yeah.
Um, and like I haven't really even paid attention to Twitter all that much, honestly. Um, so yeah, I just tune in for a laugh and just see, you know, just to mainly hear Jim's smoker laugh since it brings me so much joy.
I think it brings
Um,
everybody joy. I think it's one of those things that heals you.
yeah, it's killing him, but it's healing the rest of us.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, um, and then that Turkey Man thing at the I do have a prediction that like that may be Ralph's final form. Uh, once everything has
If
melted.
schizophrenia takes him, maybe shit.
At this point, nothing is off the table. Who
You know what? You're right. You never know what's gonna happen on the kill stream.
I was and I told Genius Anus this. I'm not from. I don't know if you're familiar with the Coen brothers, but they're the ones who did "Oh Brother Where Art Thou," and they did like No Country. They did
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Like they've done a whole bunch of like I guess dark humor
Hmm.
type movies, and as crazy as some of the Ralph shit is, and with all due respect to the Vickers and whatnot, there is an element of, I guess, dark humor to Ralph's entire saga. So I was
Depending
trying
on
to,
how drunk you might be, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I was trying to explain Ralph to someone IRL, and I'm just like, okay, picture the most fucked up Coen Brothers movie that you can think of, but like it's real,
Yeah,
and
that's not the word description, yeah.
that's the easiest way for me to um explain it, which makes me think that like maybe either um at some point either Quentin Tarantino or the Coen brothers themselves will one day be looking for ideas for a movie and they'll stumble upon this whole circle. I bet
Maybe
you it'll be Quentin Tarantino actually. So
that would
if
be an insane movie.
oh yeah. So
Get get Jonah Hill to play the Gunt.
yeah, that would be perfect.
He knows how to play a fucking slime ball.
Get Josh Brolin to play Medicare. Um, let's see.
No, you don't even need that. Just hire Kill All Pedos onto your technical staff, and he'll whip you up the gym voice saying whatever you need.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Well, shit. Now we just made Co-op Pedo a celebrity, and now he's going to require. Well, I guess now that Harvey Weinstein isn't there, he can ask for more money, so that's good.
God
Um,
damn.
let's see. We can have Uma Thurman play. We can have Uma Thurman maybe play Adrian Blair. I don't know.
Oh my god, this man is thinking about casting already. Holy shit.
Sorry, I took 5 semesters of studies in college,
Uh-huh.
and
I see.
I actually passed all of them.
Well,
So,
that's even better shit. I would hope you fucking passed your classes, Sam. God damn.
well, apparently some people didn't. So,
Well,
we'll just
some people don't care about college that much, so I can understand that too.
no, but I mean, if you're gonna be a film major, you might wanna
It might be helpful. I will agree.
yeah. So, uh, but yeah. Anyway, so that yeah, so that's my little casting. I'm sure that'll make waves somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
So
Somebody will take the idea and make money out of it for sure.
but anyway, well, as far as other news or gaming news, anything else or
Absolutely, absolutely. So this one's near and dear to my fucking heart. So it's not gonna apply to practically fucking anyone. Uh Prinny presents Nice Classics Volume 3 Rhapsody, a musical adventure spotlight trailer. So Nice America, Nipponichi Software, released a trailer for their Classics Volume, which is a game collection of some of the best that Nice has put out. So you have things like Kumyokyo and other, Japanese games, things like that are finally getting adaptations in some cases, and a re-release of one of my favorite RPGs from the PlayStation 1, Rhapsody, a musical adventure, as well as being another title in that collection being La Pucelle Ragnarok from the La Pucelle series, which is a very good series, PS2, I think. Anyway, I'm a huge mark for this game. It is a classic RPG. It is voice acted. It is fantasy. It is great. It is
I
something unique.
I do have a question about that. So you play lots of Japanese games.
I am very, if
I
not
kind of
play familiar, yes.
so what I'm wondering is because I know that I know that like certain movies have like regions, right? Like you go over
Mhm.
to the UK, you can only play certain DVDs,
Region 2 DVDs,
and
yeah.
certain right. So do video games I would assume they have regions just like
They used to.
mm,
They cut that shit out in the PS2 days. Um I'm trying to think who was probably the last one. 360 was region locked. PS3 was region free. Wii was region free, I believe. Um Wii U was region free, but the controllers weren't. That was something weird. And then by PS4 era, everything else is region free. The last you ever saw was 360. Because Microsoft was a little slow as they tend to be in getting with the times. But region locking used to be a real pain in the fucking ass. I knew, and partially for a lot of people was the main reason that they would get modded systems on top of playing burn games.
yeah. Um so I mean are you fluent in Japanese or when you play
Oh,
any of these games
fuck, oh, fuck no. Kuso Nihongo. Kuso Nihongo. I have shit Japanese. I can understand certain things, tones, phrases. I'm completely illiterate though. So I like most have to wait for English translations. Otherwise, I just can't fucking do anything. There are certain Japanese games you can get by with not knowing much and just playing it. Fighting games, things like that. There are some Japanese games that have fully voiced English lines, like from Software's Metal Wolf Chaos for the Xbox, whereas you play as a mech pilot who just so happens to be the president of the United States of America, and your antagonist is the vice president trying to usurp America from you. Dude, I shit you
that
not. I shit
that
you not.
that actually sounds awesome and that totally sounds like a Japanese concept too.
Oh, dude, yeah, no, it's
Um
it's, it's super fucking wacky. But no, generally I have to wait for English just like everyone else. So there's a lot of stuff that gets locked away from me in terms of playing. But I do know of the existence of a lot of stuff.
yeah. Well, that's cool. No, I just I found out that my cousin, who's 11 years older than me, and I had forgotten this, but he's rusty now. But when he was in college, he actually studied abroad in Japan, so he's somewhat fluent. And so
Oh yeah.
I was telling him that I have a co-host who plays Japanese games, and he's like, oh yeah, maybe I should start playing some Japanese games so I can brush up on my language skills again. So,
I mean,
but
if you've got if you've got foundation down, it's never a bad idea. You really wanna push it. Go play an MMO and play with Japanese players, or play any language actually you want to learn. The more you talk to somebody in that language, the better the language will be. And writing is different than speaking, but you can
yeah,
if you've got enough cross between the two, it's a lot easier.
no, I'm one of those English only people. Like I barely passed my required foreign language things in high school, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. So,
Yeah, no, I feel
but
you on that. It's something that's not quite ingrained into us as Americans so much as to automatically have something early on as a second language, but it would help. But yeah, no. So these games I mentioned did have English releases. Nice America did absolutely amazing with localization. Rhapsody has musical numbers in it, like actual musical songs and stuff, and they translated all in English and made it flow like how they used to for the old Sailor Moon back in the day and stuff like that, Dragon Ball Z. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited. They're having slightly new stuff. You have filters for CRT, sharper graphics. Um, it will be a physical release, so it also includes soundtrack and an art book. I'm over the fucking moon because it's a great series, and not a lot of people, especially now, even know it exists, let alone back then. It had very, very few numbers printed, so the physical copy of Rhapsody on PS1 is stupidly expensive. Only in America.
yeah,
And that's a problem I have to deal with, is that like I will literally buy a game in Japanese just so I have the game in my collection, despite not being able to
yeah.
fucking play it.
You know what? The kind of I'm kind of not like in an exact similar boat, but I found out recently because I'm a bit of a classic rock fan.
Mhm.
I'm a huge one actually, but I found out recently that like a lot of if you want like the highest quality CD print for for albums like Dark Side of the Moon, I
Mhm.
guess the best printing that you can get like is one of the early ones from like the early 80s that was like pressed in Japan,
Yeah.
and they essentially used like the master tracks. So that's just interesting to me, like that in terms of like that type of stuff, Japan is just like you know that is kind of the go-to for that whole thing.
Japan always gets
So
some cool stuff with music. I've noticed, like there'll always be some tracks that are released only on the Japanese version of the CD. Like I've noticed that for Jamiroquai in a couple of instances where I'm like, motherfuck, all right, I guess I'm gonna buy the Japanese version. Fuck, I want that bonus track.
yeah,
Or I think Daft Punk might have had something similar at some point, or special editions or something like that. But
yeah, or you want the the longer 6-inch version or whatever. So
yeah, yeah, I was one time looking for one particular cut on vinyl, one I think 7 30-minute cut of Level 42 Something About You, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out, just trying to base on numbers, which of these fucking vinyls in which of these fucking markets have this exact early open extended cut, but right before they start with the instruments they don't do this weird breakbeat thing. It's so frustrating. So
oh
fucking.
boy, Oh boy, you said level 42, and I think we might have just become best friends. The fact that you know who Mark King is amazing. Oh my
Here's the thing.
God.
So my dad and aunt were fans, right? So it was played around me as a child, but I never really picked up on it. It was actually not until I got into Japanese hip hop because one of my favorite tracks
Really?
by one of my favorite Japanese rappers uses that extended cut instrumental to create the beat. And I was like, this beat
Huh.
is so hard. What is the sample? And it was like, fucking level 42. Oh my fucking God. And then that began that long hunt for that particular version on the vinyl.
You wouldn't happen to be a fan of the Police by any chance,
Oh,
would
yeah, of
you?
course. Yeah.
Oh
My
my.
dad brought me up on all kinds of music.
So, and apologies to my friend Andrew, who is a huge Beatles fan, but the Police was essentially my Beatles growing up. So my dad's best friend's brother, and I apologize to the folks who have heard this for the 30th time probably. But my dad's best friend's brother has actually been Sting's bass tech for close to 40 years, probably more
God
than
damn.
that by now.
Yeah.
Um, when the Police were in their first tour in America, uh, they stopped in at this um, bar in Denver, which back in the late 70s was it's not like it is now. It was basically a cow town still.
Yeah.
And their van broke down, and because it was, the 70s, no one had cell phones and whatnot. So my dad's friend's brother, Danny, was working at this club in Denver, and he offered to give, Sting's to Andy a lift,
Mm.
and basically invited them home. And so my dad and his friend got to have dinner with these two Brits and this one tall, American drummer, not knowing really who they were going to be. And then,
Right.
cut to just like a year or two later, they, they were who they were. And then
Hmm.
I guess Danny was so good that he got hired on full time, and so he's been around
God
the
damn.
world countless times. And so yeah, I so yeah, I basically grew up on the Police and Sting, and I actually found Level 42 because of say what you will about streaming, but their algorithms for recommending music actually is pretty good. So when
Mm.
iTunes used to have like the Genius
Yeah.
feature, back when it worked, they were like, if you like the Police, you might also like Level 42. And I'm like, well, I'll try it. And yeah,
I see. I
and
see.
and I think Mark King has one of the best bass lines ever. So.
Mm. Yeah, true.
But yeah, so if anything, the A-logs know that just like Mr. Vickers is nerdy in comics, I am obsessively nerdy over classic rock bands. So
And we all have our thing. Mr. Vickers
yeah,
asks if we know why he's called Sting. I do not personally.
I do, I do. Uh, does Mr. Vickers know, or
I would hope so, or that's an odd question.
it is not a lot of people know though. It's because back in the day he had a yellow. They call them jumpers, but in America we call them sweaters. That
Right.
was that was like yellow and black stripes. So
Ah.
it looked like a hornet. So they called him Sting, and supposedly there was also some sexual innuendo that the women would use too. That
Jesus
me
Christ.
so. Well,
Sam's probably right, but I want to believe.
I listen. I'm just telling you what I've heard third hand, so or second hand, however that goes.
However that works, yeah.
But anyway, um, so something at level 42 in Japanese games.
It's hip hop, Japanese hip hop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Japanese hip hop,
So
and then back to games. I do have another piece of interesting news. Somebody had recently on Reddit posted something from the game Near Automata, asking about a particular room and why people couldn't get to it. And it started to cause a buzz because, as far as everybody knew, that game had been picked apart clean. 100% confirmed by the creator of the series, Yoko Taro. He confirmed that a famed hacker data miner, Lance McDonald, found the final secret, found the last thing anybody could find. So for them to show a new room and go down it and run through it, at this point, there was no way it could have been done by modders because there was nothing like that in the scene at all. And as it went on, there were more videos detailing about it and more posts by this guy on Reddit. And then he kind of fucks up because he leaves a comment under his own post saying it's either cut content or a mod, as if he were somebody else besides the OP. And so people start running through all of his comments, all the posts. They start overanalyzing the footage. More and more comes out, and there's more and more new stuff that almost looks like there's stuff pulling from old there's stuff pulling from Dragon Guard, and people are like, is this a Dragon Guard 3 remaster announcement or something they did in the update or something? And no, it was a very clever modding team doing some groundbreaking work in this game and just kind of having fun with the community, saying, look at this weird thing I found in this game.
okay.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely 100% the hand of modders, and it was very impressive.
I say okay because I don't know if you like I don't even really follow that game, but it was trending on Twitter today, and I was like, huh,
That might have been it. Yeah,
that's interesting.
because
So,
it's starting to finally make the rounds a little more. It's very impressive, and the thing why it caught everybody by storm is because nobody had kind of figured out how to mod the game like that. It took a lot of guys who were doing what was thought impossible. And coming from the Soulsborne community, I know that does kind of happen here and there. Same
yeah.
for the Metal Gear Online private server community. You sometimes have people come into these scenes who can do things to mod the game that were unthinkable by the entire community and said impossible.
Well, I rem- I remember I remember back in the day. This was a while ago now, but I remember back when it was found out that like KOTOR 2 had like cut content, and then they
shit
released.
tons. There was no good ending. It was only for the evil, if I remember.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, there was shit ton of cut content, and believe it or not, there are still rumors that there's cut content out there. It's crazy.
Oh, I'm sure there's still more I'm sure that there's stuff in builds that might be sitting on machines that indicate to some crazy stuff that still got cut.
Yeah, it's and I honestly I love KOTOR 2. It's just a shame that we never got KOTOR 3. Um, we got Knights of the Republic Online instead, which wasn't bad, but it's not what people it's not what Star Wars fans wanted.
You could have left in all the items, ripped everything else out, and just left that story in. Just have it be this massive customization level of things you can do, and just have them play through that story, because that story is very interesting and it does a lot, and
Oh,
it plays like KOTOR the whole
yeah.
way through. It's very impressive for an MMO, but the MMO side of it is just so fucking tedious.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like I remember when KOTOR online when, when SWOTOR as it's called was announced,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is gonna be, interesting because to play the KOTOR games, it's a slog in and of itself. So,
Kind
you
of,
know,
yeah. But I like SWTOR for what it tries to do. I hate MMOs.
yeah, me too. And so and yes, I mean I've read the Revan novel, so I know how that story ends, but I still would have rather played the game and like had a choice to end the story as opposed to
Yeah,
having it read, you know, what Drew Karpshin
yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
So um
Oh man, I miss good Star Wars games.
I'm
That was a good time.
well, I miss good Star Wars period. So
Okay, yeah, that's a fair one. That's a fair one. Got another piece of news.
go
So I
ahead.
don't know if you are familiar with VR chat at all.
Uh with just the concept of virtual reality and chat in general. Yeah.
Basically, think of it like MSN Messenger and VR combined.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know.
So very big game, blew up at the start of the pandemic, and now is under deep backlash from practically everyone ever, because VR chat has decided that they will implement a new anti-cheat system which will ban all mods from the game. Now, mods in VR chat can range from some less than noble stuff to some very noble stuff. I used a mod to where you could search an avatar library and just do an easy search, find the model you wanted, and have the model. Um, it could allow you to free clip, get out of places, explore maps better, things like that. Um, there were mods that helped hearing impaired and things like that. The accessibility options, turn down brightness or flashing lights for people who are prone to seizures and things like that. A lot of people were doing good with these mods, and they basically said, "Yeah, no, we're anti cheat. We're gonna ban you if you use mods." And it's very anti-consumer. It's very against the community and what makes it good. It started as a spiritual successor to games like IMVU and Second Life, where it was driven by user created content. The whole thing only works if users create stuff for it.
Right. So, okay, so this is interesting. So, my understanding is that like Second Life and whatnot, or this, this virtual reality chat is what they're trying to go for in the metaverse,
The metaverse
essentially.
is the worst possible version of all of this. Second Life is leaps and bounds above. Second Life was pretty much the first metaverse, if you want to be specific. It was a game in which
Yeah.
you could buy land, you could buy deeds to land, you could make money through its virtual economy, you can cash in, you can cash out. I used to play Second Life for many years. I had many
So did I.
friends who made a lot of fucking money on Second Life. They were all in the furry community or the sex community, but we're not going to go into that. Point being, people made actual livings out of this virtual economy, out of this virtual video game. And
Oh,
as
really?
arcade, yeah, oh, dude, absolutely. I knew people who made very steady livings or made a lot of money to be able to live comfortably. in the real world, who managed role play sims and things like that. Like I met a lot of fucking people. And so even though the game kind of fucking ran like Dookie for a long while, and to a point still does, and they suffer a lot from, you know, their server infrastructure and old tech and all that, they're doing exactly what metaverses wanted to do. And they were, by all intents and purposes, technically called the first kind of metaverse. But it's just that Facebook ran with it because it was going to stop Facebook. But where their tech is at, and them wanting to integrate it into VR, I think they're too focused on the technological jump of it, and not creating a good stable product first. And it's a hard thing to
Yeah.
do, to create a game, quote game, like that is so complex, that does so much in 3D, that it's hard to make it run well. And it's hard for it to run well across everything. That's why Second Life has always kind of been a niche thing and never caught on in the mainstream in any real regard. But yeah, so VR chat kind of slightly could have had sort of that. People did model commissions for VR chat. Pay me money and I'll make you a 3D custom model. Like it had its own economy outside of the game. But it could have also been that thing that Metaverse wants to be too, if it probably wasn't running on Unity. I think that's part of the big thing, is that it runs on Unity. But yeah, no, they by stopping mods, it really is a big thing of killing the momentum of what could be. I mean, look at Skyrim or Fallout. The mods for those games are what keep those games alive. They're what continue to sell those games.
You know, I feel like some of those games, and I don't necessarily mean this as like an insult per se.
Mm-hmm.
I think, just kind of an observation. I think games like Skyrim and like Fallout are so ambitious, so to speak, that they don't really think. They're so ambitious, and they're looking to do so much that they don't really think of their limitations, and they kind of bite off more than they can chew, in a sense.
They do, and they have since 3. I mean, shit, you can say Daggerfall was like a big, like, we're gonna make the biggest thing ever, and they still made one of the biggest game worlds ever. How densely popular that world is to be fucking argued, and that's where you argue quality versus quantity. But they also know is that if they do at least a nominal framework and setting and goal, and they allow for that modding, the modders will not necessarily fix their games, in some ways fix their games, but they'll improve upon them. Because you can't hire a development staff to work on a game for forever, but people will in their own free time. And so they may not have had, for Skyrim, they may not have had the time to figure out a custom UI like Sky UI, or do something really clean and creative, or be able to focus test that. But modders have all the time in the world, and all the revisions and all this, that, to get this stuff done. So
yeah,
they knew that as long as they provided a solid-ish experience, everybody else will be able to kind of take it forward and keep it going. Because they're not bad games. For games, they do what they're supposed to, at least on console. But on PC, where they can really stretch, fucking sky's the limit.
Yeah. Okay. Assface wants to know.
Oh boy.
Ask Akaba how many feet pics he bought on Second Life.
Huh?
Genius Anus wants to know how many feet pics you bought in Second Life.
None.
Not
none.
yeah.
No.
I love that his question wasn't did you buy feet pics, it was how many.
Zero. That's how many, Anus. Fuck.
I'm curious. I'm curious. how many did you buy it? And also, I'm now getting nightmare images of a of a character mod in Second Life that's like a human-sized anus dressed in a suit and wearing a top hat, walking around in Second Life.
I can see that. It's fucking hilarious. Every time you type, you talk on the voice chat, the fucking flaps of the ass move a little bit. You can fucking pull that off. That'd be fucking amazing.
That would have been Genius's avatar back in the day. So
That'd be fucking fantastic. No, I never. Jesus Christ. I don't buy feet pics. I don't buy pornography. I don't buy any of that shit. I subscribe to the red versus blue caboose method. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
huh.
Pay for feet pics. Why did it have to be feet, Anus? What the fuck? Come on. Oh, Lord. He's going for the most degenerate fucking shit. Oh my god.
Interesting. So,
He knows the questions to ask, I guess.
and he's typing now. So,
Oh Lord. But yeah, no, for the story, they ban mods. Everybody's getting mad, and hopefully they burn for this decision. They'll try to veil it under, oh, we're protecting children or this, that, or the others, or don't want people to be targeted. That's fucking bullshit. It's just fucking bullshit. They're gonna try to figure out a way to restrict mods, sell services, and make money out of it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Genius, I'm gonna feel this one for Akaba. And I think listen, I think you're confusing Akaba with Ralph here. Genius. He goes, okay, my bad. How many cow hoof picks did he steal from Second Life? Again, Agaba's not into cow hooves. The only one that's into hooves is Ralph because he's a rage pig. So
pigs get along with cows.
if Ralph,
farm animals.
Hey, I doubt Ralph would even know what Second Life is. Let's hope.
I mean, he's barely a fucking gamer, so probably not. No, I didn't. I don't pay for any fucking pics. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I didn't pay for anything in Second Life.
I mean, I paid for shit, but I didn't pay for shit like that. That's so dumb.
I just remember when I was on Second Life, it was a really weird period of time where everyone was kind of like, you know what's really cool? The Matrix. So everyone needs to dress in like black leather and trench coats, and because even though at that point the Matrix had already been done for a few years,
a long while, yeah,
we still needed to do Matrix everything, I guess. So
Mr. Vicker says when Ralph streamed himself playing Elden Ring and then shouted, "Where's my horse?" I almost pissed my pants. Yeah, same. Man, him playing Elden Ring fucking upsets me.
Vickers, I keep forgetting to upload gameplay footage onto my alternate channel of me playing RDR2, but there's a mission, I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about, where I don't know which part in the game it is. I think it's either towards the end, like the last chapter, during the epilogue. But you can go into a certain cabin in the game and find a very Ralph-like character in the game, and he will either try and rob you or his sister will try and drug you.
RDR2 is Red Dead Redemption 2, by the way, Mr. Vickers.
Correct. Correct. I thought you already knew that.
No, he's Elden Ring is still wrapped in plastic. He doesn't get around to games that much.
well, to be fair, Aqua, I mean, he has Elden Ring. I haven't played. I haven't
Technically
even
has
gotten
it.
it yet.
Technically, he has it.
I don't even have
He's also
it yet.
drunk. He's also drunk, so that might be it too.
I don't even have it yet. I don't even have it yet. So
You got to get on it. It's a good game.
So, well, I just want something. I just want something that's going to be better than the upcoming Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah, it'll definitely be better than that. Even with George R.R. Martin having a hand in writing the lore.
Yeah, well, that is like people. That is one, I guess, kind of final rant I want to go off on is people are excited for the Game of Thrones prequel, and I'm like, why? Did you not see how the thing ended? Like,
Nah,
it's
more product. Nah, consume. That's all they care about.
it's hard for me to get excited about like a. It's hard for me to get excited about a prequel when I know how it's all going to end.
Yeah,
Which is terribly.
yeah. It can be done right if the prequel tells a meaningful story, like fucking Metal Gear Solid we did with 3 and Peace Walker and Portable Ops, but you have to be answering something that wasn't really known before, and has big consequence.
If the Game of Thrones prequel, which I don't even know what it's called, can somehow like explain away this, can somehow justify the shitty ending we got for Game of Thrones, that might make it worth it. But like honestly, the chances of me getting up and walking and not having cerebral palsy are better than
Jesus.
are better than that.
I'll just have to. Who knows? Maybe a miracle will happen.
What you mean? What you mean? I'll walk again? Yeah, like I said, the chances of that, happening are far better than the Game of Thrones prequel being good.
Maybe we'll get 2 miracles. Who knows? Don't lose hope yet.
Yeah. So.
I do have one final piece of news, but it is not game news, but I find it fucking interesting. Because I'm a nerd for shit.
Well, go ahead. I'm always interested in interesting nerdy news.
It has been officially announced that Triple H will assume all responsibilities related to WWE creative, in addition to his regular duties per WWE.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. Did we even cover Vince retiring last week? I can't remember.
We did not. I did not know. So I read that and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? So Vince retired?
I guess.
It's about goddamn fucking time. I don't know if anything's. I don't know. NXT is a decent product. I'm hoping now. Everyone's always said, hey, we gotta wait for old fucking Vinnie Mac to die before anything good happens. But
yeah, see, my only problem is, and yeah, I know that Vince was an asshole, and yeah, I know that he's a bit of a misogynist.
No, he's a fucking loon. The dude's a fucking nutbag.
But I would rather have a nutbag if it means that WWE isn't gonna go woke, because that's That's what I'm afraid of.
I think it's inevitable due to the nature of wrestling surviving. I think that's kind of why certain things in AEW are as they are, and it's just a byproduct of the times.
Fuck.
I will say with the bad, there might be good though. Because
Yeah.
at least at this point, even if shit does start to go woke or is allowed to go woke depending on what each wrestler wants to do, I mean, it can't get worse than some of the shit Vince was making those talents do.
Right,
Vince
yeah.
was Vince fucking wasted Shinsuke Nakamura. And Shinsuke did a fucking lot. Don't get me wrong. But that man could have been fucking to the moon and back. They fucking hammered Asuka for that result. And now we're finally seeing, maybe it's because of her fucking time in NXT, but like, and that's just those two off the fucking top of my head right now. I can't count how many people they squandered in terms of talent because they were given a stupid fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
At least since like fucking 2012 probably. I mean, I hate to sound like every other fucking mark on the net, but after fucking CM Punk, the whole thing just started to fucking dip. And the dip just kept fucking happening. So I think it might get more woke, but I think overall it'll be better for the company than where it was going.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last piece of news I got.
Yeah, I just found that interesting. So
Yes, I mean, all we can do now is just see where it goes and hope for the fucking best. I want WWE to do well in the same way that AEW does well. I want every fucking wrestling promotion to do well. I want wrestling to be part of the zeitgeist again. I think it's fucking great.
yeah.
It's dope. It's fun. It's something different than a lot of the other entertainment forms out there. You know, I will take pro wrestling over reality TV any day of the goddamn week.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I have more fun watching a wrestling event than going to see whatever new flavor of the Marvel month is
It's
out.
all it's all it's all fake. Yeah.
What isn't in this fucking world? At least the flips they're doing are fucking real. I went to go see AEW when they had came to my state, the first time they came to my state, and it was fucking cool. Going to see
Yeah.
wrestling in person is really fucking dope. Especially at the high level kind of shit. Um it's something fun to do. I don't know, not to shit on him, never been my particular thing. I see the benefits. I'd rather watch wrestling than NASCAR. I'm just saying. At least
Th-
modern
thank
NASCAR.
thank you.
At
Thank
least
you.
modern NASCAR. Maybe back in the non-restrictor plate racing days, it was more fun, or during the Dale Earnhardt days. But like, you're taking the modern incarnations, wrestling's still a hell of a lot more watchable than fucking NASCAR is.
Hold hold on. Sam, you only watched wrestling back in the day because Trish Stratus was hot. Yeah, and what's the problem?
And
What's the pro? What's the problem with that? I
every
only
every WWE marketing site's like, no, that's working. It's good. I don't care if he's watching just for Trish Stratus. He's watching WWE. That's all we need.
I only came out a little bit. I only came out a little bit perverted.
Only a little.
Ask the Kiss fans who grew up with Shannon Tweed how they turned out. So,
But
uh,
yeah, no, I always love the anti-wrestling crowd because it's like, I understand what you're saying, but it just don't hit water, man. We're watching for different fucking reasons.
Apex is like for Apex is just like Apex is just always like, it's for children, and I'm like, so is 90% of, so is the E-drama shit.
So is fucking Power Rangers, and I'll still watch that shit. Fuck it. I'm still a Toys R Us kid. Get fucked. I don't care if they went out of business. I'm gonna enjoy
Uh,
fun shit.
yeah, I'd rather have tangible shit than the NFT
Oh
stuff.
yeah, dude, here's the thing: is like it's our culture is so different now. It's like even if it's fake, like dude, there'll be points where it's like, dude, I would rather go to a NASCAR event than watch certain kinds of video game streams or just streams in general. Uh, like just something. It's getting to this point now where I'm getting oddly nostalgic for stuff that's like really produced well and like presented well because there's just such a flood of amateur stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's fun in this. It's different because now the media we consume, it's all saturated to be one kind of fucking thing.
Well, and I mean, and as much as I like digital, and as much as I like digital, I'm a big tech guy myself.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like digital content, there is something to be said for physical, tangible stuff too.
It's an experience. It's the experience you're getting with it. It's minute, but you notice it once you're well past it. I've never
Yeah.
getting a CD is not the same as downloading a CD. Getting a record is not the same as downloading the record online or even streaming it. Holding something in your hand, putting in the collection, and you can look at it and see, oh yeah, I remember the fondness of rewatching that or watching that with whoever and this ever. If it's just digital, it's sitting in a library and you may never fucking see it again.
Right. It could get wiped out, and
Yeah.
what I will do sometimes, and it's a pain in the ass to do, but like if I'm really desperate, um, I'll rip some of my DVDs or Blu-rays, and like there are converters that you can get for digital.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know, dude. I run them all the time. I do up conversions and down conversions between HDMI and RCA for my consoles. Dude, I have the fun. I love putting modern consoles on old CRT TVs. It is
Oh
such
yeah.
a weird feeling. It is so trippy. I love it. Oh God. That'll get me off on another tangent though. I got to be careful. But yeah, no, it's not just with COVID and stuff, but there's something about like going and seeing things that are done in live action as opposed to just kind of how a lot of our content is done nowadays. Is just, I don't know. I like technology, I advance it forward, but there are times where I'm like, return to monkey, make it simple again.
Yeah. And and I mean, and I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but for God's sakes, can George Lucas release the unaltered original trilogy on like a
Oh, bro, that's in Disney's hands now. If that
no,
file exists, what, you don't think it is?
I mean, so they have like they've had like special edition after special edition after
Yeah.
special edition.
I came in the my first watching of Star Wars, the first, well, 4, 5, and 6, the first 3 movies made. I came up on the 1997 deluxe VHS re-release with the CG added in.
Yeah,
And
I
I didn't
would.
see the original cut of episode 4 until way later. And like, holy fuck, that's a different film.
It is, but there's like I don't know. There's something novel about it, I guess,
Oh no, I
because
love it. I wish there
it's
was. I wish they would release every re-release they did. The original theatrical cut, laserdisc cut, the first re-release cut, the special edition re-release cut, the DVD special edition cut, the first cut where they changed Anakin's ghost to be fucking goddamn Anakin from episode 3. Give it all to me. And the fucking Christmas special, and just let me run through it.
Oh my God, the Christmas special.
That is peak Star Wars.
I actually did like I actually did a live stream on a friend's podcast channel a few years ago where we watched the Star Wars special, and I had never seen it, so it was just
shit.
It was, and the funny thing is it was Christmas time, so we were all drinking eggnog, and I'm just sitting here going, wait, what is this?
That is the best time to experience the Star Wars Christmas special.
No way.
Christmas and drunk.
No way. Boba Fett's in here? That's awesome.
Yeah, you return to child, and that's the reaction you get. I like Boba Fett. Oh no, Chewbacca's gotta make it home for Christmas.
Mark Hamill looks pretty good after his car crash.
Oh man.
Carrie Fisher's not as hot as she was in Return of the Jedi, but she wasn't too bad.
I never stopped being willing to do Carrie Fisher. Even till her death. I was like, I'll take you on. I have no qualms about that.
No, never. It has
absolutely.
And as much as I like Natalie Portman, yeah.
I take old Carrie Fisher over young Natalie Portman.
Agreed.
100%, no hesitation at all.
Especially considering depending on how far back you go in Natalie Portman's career, let's just say that at one point Ethan Ralph would have
he would have been a professional, you might say.
Let me put it this way: Ethan Ralph wouldn't be interested in grown Natalie Portman. Ethan Ralph would probably be interested in young Natalie Portman.
Probably in a Frenchy kind of filter, yes.
So, and with that, any more random news or?
That is everything for me.
Okay, well, I can't think of anything else that on my docket, other than the fact that Akbar and I will probably shoot the breeze, a little bit after. But other than that, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and as the title goes, it was a good July, and so long July, and hello August, I guess. So
can't wait to see what happens.
Yep, should be a fun month. So, all right, folks, take care, and we'll talk you down the road.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.